Okay, welcome back. We're going to have a look at some of these last few kind of favorite plugins of mine. I kind of synthesize and pull in a few things I like at once to really teach people to get up and running with these. Weaverbird, first of all, I want to credit Daniel Christev for his mesh generator that I use at the beginning. I just absolutely love it as a surface and mesh generator. Use it as much as I can. I think it's just kind of this beautiful way of understanding surfaces. And then weaverbird, a powerful tool by Alfonso Peluso, who comes out of Chicago architectural program. Really like his videos and some great online examples. So I'm kind of touch on what he does with weaverbird. It's pretty general, but he has some techniques like down here using multivariables, and I really wanted to highlight that because that's a technique he uses. So what you can do is grab your group, ungroup it. I'm going to leave this one grouped because this is really the script that I find exciting coming out of Daniel's, and I won't go into detail, but basically you start with a point system and generating some really wonderful points, and he's just sliding through a sine curve currently. He'll use that data as a surface to break it into pieces and move those pieces, evaluate the surfaces, divide the surfaces, and uses a little bit of math to slide in here along with quite a few multi-dimensional sliders, which allow you to, if it doesn't slow it down too much, as long as I'm dependent on this shape. Let me grab my surface we're actually dealing with. This mesh is what's being generated, so as I get in here, I can actually have some really nice articulation to move it, playing with that form. And I'll leave that script there that I wrote from one of his tutorials years ago. That one's taking a little time to jump. But really, it's just about outputting a beautiful surface and also outputting it as points for mesh. So just credit over to Daniel, who I'm so excited to work with. And it might be a hackathon we're working on in the next couple of weeks together. The next thing to do is to take a surface or any mesh that you have and go through some of the samples that Alfonso Peluso has done. I'm learning about all these wonderful architects that bring their classes down to Kansas City and visit places like A Zahner and Dimensional Innovations. And I really would love it if they can come visit the Kansas City Art Institute and see what we're doing. But weaverbird has incredible examples. What I'm finding is my bifocals tool is never activated when I open these. But what I like about Alfonso is he'll talk about the people, the history, and who Catmull is, who Clark is, relate them. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to take that surface and put it through this mesh level, which is really nice. The application Catmull-Clark subdivision, the loop subdivision, and the quad subdivision. I think these are things that you find a pattern in doing, and then a weaverbird frame as to what you might do. And this is really the magic of Alfonso comes in. He starts using multiple dimensions, distances, and then doing that again to get into the thick and to push it into 3 dimensions, end up with these incredible forms. They're pretty complex and hard to see here. What happens if you put that through another Catmull-Clark subdivision? You end up with, if I bake, just a beautiful form right here that you would never in your life put together. Let me grab that and shade it. You would never once generate something like this. But that's the example. And I'm pulling that from 2 great people scripting. I feel like I'm just synthesizing it together, not doing anything creative with it as of yet. But I think when you start to take 2 different ideas and bring them together, synthesis is kind of like a genuine thought. You have to keep in mind you can't, these individuals aren't reading the books that I have yet to write, but I can certainly look at the tutorials and books that they've generated to get ideas and think about things. I'm just going to throw that back into a group. Great script to look at as a plugin, but creatively, what would you do with it? And creatively, what would you develop from this? I'll just pop it back into my subtle color that I like so well and leave it up to you to play with and have fun and consider what might be happening here. I'm going to try an Arctic and take a look at that. It's a beautiful shadowed form that might be inspiration for what you end up doing. Careful with weaverbird the same way you're careful with Voronoi, but you can't help but give credit to obviously Catmull-Clark and the others that I've mentioned in this video. Thanks for watching, 5 minutes.